Like, see, my children don't like to cook with me.
Okay, we are actually, surprisingly, even though it was not my intent, and hopefully there's nobody there, we are actually live.
Ooh.
There, we are actually live.
Are we supposed to be able to hear ourselves?
No, that is.
Okay, let me check.
All right. Now I finally got that figured out. Wait for a few folks to make an early appearance. And then we'll go ahead and get this started. But right now,
We have sound.
thank God. We had a huge technical glitch,
What
and
was it?
it was an OBS setting. It apparently had reset the microphones back to the default setting, which meant that it was using some other driver other than the HyperX drivers. I don't know why it did that.
Hey, we've got people in the house. Hello, people.
We do, and I want to change this to, well, I'll keep it on analytics. They're just basically just dropping in to see if they can hear us or not. Right now we've got the glitch figured
Yes.
out. So we're just going to basically just occupy a little bit of time because we've got a little bit of time. We did indicate that we would start at 7. Unfortunately, since I figured it out why we had no sound, we'll just go ahead and just occupy some time until those people begin showing up. We will have the live stream continue on past, this will be a 1-hour live stream. I did have some items that I really wanted to cover, but no, it's still live. So we'll just wait until somebody just says hello, lets us know that they're there. Please, please just say hello. So I'll know that I'm talking to someone. But for the moment, looks like we've got a little bit of spare time. But yeah, that's it's one of the things that happens with a live stream. Little things crop up. You at least expect it.
He broke it.
But we'll just give people just a few more minutes to go ahead and rejoin us. But in the meantime, this is probably the worst setback that I've had doing a live stream, where I've lost the ability to communicate either visually or audibly with the microphones. The last time this happened, for whatever reason, just as we went live, we lost video. I still don't understand how we ended up losing video just before the live stream occurred. Thank you, Sonia, for stopping in. Just let us know that, oh, this is your first live stream.
Hey.
As I was saying, we had some serious issues at the beginning of this live stream that should have started at 6 o'clock, but looks like we've got those bugs worked out. Yes, Mitch, and I'll say probably a couple of times during this live stream what had occurred. Apparently, somehow OBS, which is the streaming software that we use to send the stream to YouTube, apparently the microphone settings reset themselves back to the default, which meant that it was not using the HyperX drivers that it was supposed to be using. And for whatever reason, it just wasn't showing on the screen that it reset to the default. But in that...
He did it.
I bear no responsibility for that. I can say that the bulk of my career was in IT. A good part of that was in tech support. So it's just a question of eliminating the distractions and getting right down to business.
Didn't you ask me to be here? Wait a minute.
Thank
Hold
you.
up.
You know,
Here.
thank you.
Oh.
We can always leave and let you handle this on your own.
You see, when things were working fine, I mean, they're great to be around, but let something go wrong, and they're looking at you like, I need my stuff fixed right now, and you don't look like you know what you're doing, that sort of thing, which is why I'm no longer in IT. You're right. Thank you, Mitch. I appreciate the support.
Nah.
Okay. Again, we did indicate that we were going to restart this
Start
live
at 7
at
o'clock.
7, but since I figured it out, we'll go
But
ahead.
all of those people who had gone out and they were doing something until 7 o'clock.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
they're back. They'll be back eventually.
Well, my apologies for why am I apologizing for OBS? It was not my fault. Oh, okay. For Sonia, this being your first live stream, basically, it kind of works like this. I don't have an agenda for this particular live stream because I wasn't planning on doing a mid-month live stream ever again. But because my daughter was in town and my fiance was available, I decided to go ahead and give this one another shot. Again, it'll probably be about an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. I don't want to stretch it out too long. But basically, if you're new to DIY fermentation, basically DIY fermentation is a winemaking channel designed for novice. I told myself not to do that.
Yeah, because
Yes.
they can hear that.
Yes, they can. Is a novice winemaking channel for complete novices. This channel doesn't use a lot of the additives that a lot of other winemaking channels will use. In other words, we don't use sulfites. We don't use bentonite. We don't use yeast nutrients. We don't use yeast energizers. We don't use any of that stuff. We try and keep it as natural as possible, and that seems to be the primary focus of this channel. It's not to grow into those additional additives later on. It's designed to stay at a very, very simple level. And that seems to be a level that a lot of our viewers seem to appreciate. There's nothing wrong with the use of additives, sulfites, yeast energizers, yeast nutrients. When you're ready to progress and move on, I highly suggest doing that. I can recommend channels such as City Steading, Doing the Most, Man-Made Mead, Faywood Mead. There are a number of other channels out there, and I will probably have links to those channels shortly after the conclusion of this live stream. Hanging with Hodge, another Michigander up there doing the same thing. Yes, Brad, we are back. Okay.
And Kinley Clayproth just discovered the channel yesterday and live streamed today. Welcome.
If you had ever wanted to see a man working under pressure, you should have come a few minutes earlier. But anyway, Brad, yeah, it was an OBS audio setting that apparently had reset to the default, which meant that it was no longer using the HyperX drivers, and it wasn't showing that right off the bat until I had a chance to just focus in on it for a minute and corrected that error. But yeah, everything's fine this time around. Oh, let me make this larger so you guys can see that.
What does that say?
That's why I'm going to make it larger.
Thank you.
All right. Better?
Oh, they don't know how old I am.
Okay.
I guess I should explain that.
No, let me explain that because it's an issue. Which one was that?
That was
Up or down?
Mitch.
Okay, Mitch. I don't see that particular one asking about your age. The thing about my daughter is that she is underage, which means that I couldn't put her in one of the winemaking videos. I'm not going to try that one in court. So we decided. I decided basically just to bring her on during the live stream since she was here. Again, she's just checking out how her dad runs a YouTube channel. She's seen little bits and pieces of it, me doing one of the next upcoming videos or some of the earlier scenes for the next upcoming video. And she's now seeing me do the live stream to see how that works.
Which was interesting to say the least.
Yeah, it happens. Okay. Maybe at some point she might start her own channel, one of the vlogging type channels where she's just walking around with her cell phone, saying, "Well, this is my world today," and sort of thing. But again, go on.
No, I'm just thinking maybe they should know my name.
That's entirely up to you. I have
Okay.
not mentioned it because
And guys, it's wonderful. You call me No, and it's wonderful because that's my Google name. My name is Liz.
I know I said it once in a live stream and you never mentioned it. I was like, was I not supposed to say that?
No. It was okay. We just weren't sure.
My bad.
Yeah. No. It's quite all right. So, hi guys.
They were
And-
asking, when I was talking about my age, they were asking, question for each of the ladies in your life. Dad and husband's creations, what was your favorite? So I guess you can answer that one.
Which one of yours is my favorite? Is that what you said?
No, the wine.
I'm not seeing that question.
What? It's right there. Mitch.
Question for each of the ladies in your life of dad, husband's creations. What was your favorite? Now, Janelle cannot have one.
No.
So, she can't drink anything. My favorite is the pineapple wine.
Can I say pizza?
Thank
Valid? Is that a valid answer?
you, Kenley. The pineapple wine was my favorite, and I just actually discovered that it was my favorite just a little while ago because he finally let me taste it.
Yeah, I think 2 of the live streams, I had mentioned the fact that I had a bottle of pineapple wine earlier, and had consumed it all before Liz had a chance to know that it was a thing, and they were browbeating me to open up a bottle for Liz, and we finally did that during one of our live streams.
Finally,
and she tasted it, and apparently she enjoyed it. So I've got another 1 gallon batch that I started earlier.
Just for me.
So she'll get 5 bottles out of that. So
Pizza and wine. You're ready for college. I like it.
But yeah, I'm trying to get back into the proper frame of mind. I did have kind of like a plan for this evening. It's not like
it's gone out the window.
Well, no, I mean, it's sitting right there. All I got to do is just drag it over one at a time. Yeah, there was going to be a central theme for this particular live stream, and it was going to be basically the process that occurs after primary fermentation occurs, because a lot of people sometimes don't realize that there are some additional steps after you. If you've seen my videos, you know that generally I have everything going into the primary fermenter. Usually it's this, or you might see me using one of the 1 gallon carboys. But basically, you'll see me putting in all the fruit and all the water and all the sugar and all of that. And then basically, I'll take a hydrometer reading, and then I'll label it and then push it off to the side. But there are still people who don't realize that that's only just the initial step. Okay, that process sitting in the fermenter usually lasts anywhere from 5 to 7 days. The reason why I use the wide mouth fermenter is because it's got a wide mouth. Like, man, I can shove down a lot of straining bags filled with fruit in this type of fermenter. I mean, it doesn't have to be this nice Brudine and conical fermenter. It could be anything really. But again, that's like a 5 to 7 day process. Then I rack it or transfer it into a secondary carboy. This is basically called secondary. When you're racking it into from primary into secondary, and there you're pretty much letting a lot of the sediment fall to the bottom. And you could probably see on this one, I've got another one where I've got a layer of sediment. This is her pineapple wine, by the way, that I racked earlier.
You're pointing in the wrong direction.
No, it's right.
No, you said it's her pineapple wine, and you pointed it at...
I can take it.
As I was saying, you'll see a layer of sediment beginning to develop along the bottom. Once it gets, after about a couple of weeks, I'll then rack it into another carboy to get it off of that sediment. Because if you don't, it will possibly develop off flavors from that sediment. This is a batch of wine that I did somewhat earlier. This particular one is the carrot wine, if you're wondering how that's going on. And that was done about 2 months ago. And again, it's been racked once at least, and there's still a small layer of sediment beginning to build up. So again, I'll probably end up racking that one within another week or so. And my daughter is going to hand me that jug of strawberry wine.
Can I pick up?
I would suggest you going around the carboy.
Yep.
Actually, you can just put this on the floor. 1 gallon is about 6 pounds. And after a period of time, your wine is going to go clear, almost to the point where, okay, there's no real sediment on the bottom, and you could then think about bottling your wine. Again, but this whole process takes several months. So During that time, again, the sediment, which is basically the dead yeast, also known as lees, is settling down to the bottom. And it's also giving time for the wine to age. And what's happening during the aging process, basically called bulk aging, is that there's a process where the malic acid in the wine, which gives it that harsh taste at the beginning, transforms into a lactic acid, which is more of a mellow type of flavor to the wine. And yeah, usually that takes around 9 to 12 months. Sometimes you can go longer. And again, the longer you wait, the better your wine's going to be. And basically that, in a nutshell, is what occurs after the conclusion of my video. You used to see me doing 6-month wine tastings. I kind of stopped that because the wines all kind of like tasted the same, not done. They all had a harsh taste to it. So now I'm doing the 12-month-ish tastings, and that's when the wine is basically done. All right, let me catch up on some of the comments here. Okay.
Wonderful, Super Life. You're answering the questions that Super Life needed. Needed answers to.
Well, that's what I'm here for.
And okay, so Brett Palmer's pineapple coconut wine blew the airlock off.
Is that what this is?
Yes, that's the airlock.
How did the airlock blow off?
It can happen. It did the same thing with that wild yeast apple wine experiment. Oh, that one's not posted yet. I'm in the middle of doing a video where I took the last of that wild yeast starter that I had done in an earlier video off of the organic grapes that I had just to see if I can create a wild yeast starter. Well, I took some of that, and in a video that I did do, I used apple wine, small container, 2-quart container of apple wine, and used the yeast starter in that. And yeah, the fermentation was it was one of those foamers. Okay, you need a lot of headspace for that particular one. Otherwise, all of the foam would basically work its way through the airlock and out and down and around. So
That happened with the watermelon
yes,
wine.
it did happen with the watermelon
Oh
wine.
gosh, that was messy.
And
That blew up.
since I still had some of that yeast starter left, and I was gonna it served its purpose, and I wasn't going to do any more videos. One of the members, Ibn Nasir, suggested that I do a video where I do a comparison between a wild yeast starter or wild yeast and a commercial yeast. Can you bring those two over? Yeah. This one I started nearly a week ago. This video is still in process. The members have access to the rough edits. It's more like the first 2 days of shooting. But basically, this was commercial yeast, and this was wild yeast. And yeah, this one was a foamer too, so it basically did its little thing. But I'm going to do this video over the course of a month, and then take hydrometer readings to determine which one performed. Generally, they say that wild yeast is about 8 to 10% ABB. The yeast I used here has an average of about roughly about 14% ABB. But again, we're just going to see if you can do a wild yeast starter and get some decent ABBs off of using that wild yeast. Okay, now that I've said all that.
Professional person.
So, have you had any wines that you made and actually enjoyed prior to 1 year?
The apple wines can be drunk pretty early. The Concord grape wines can be pretty much drunk earlier. I do have 5 bottles of the Concord grape that I have not opened. They're getting close to the 9-month mark. I was going to open one up for Liz, but I'm going to hold off on the 12-month mark so she can get a good representation of what that kind of wine tastes like. But the apple wines, in my opinion, are kind of quick. If you're using store-bought apple juice.
Alex Ware is coming in from Japan.
Oh, all right.
And oh my gosh, it's early. It's 7 a.m.
Is it?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, because
they're 12 hours ahead of us.
That's cool.
All right.
Good morning.
That puts you the furthest we've had so far. That's for sure. My little bro, 1234, followed your recipes for the cherry wine, and I'm excited to see the results. My question is the airlock supposed to be equal in the water containers at all times? Well, I mean, it's not a life or death issue. I mean, as long as the water is kind of close to the little level marks on the airlock, you're okay. I mean, again, the airlocks are designed to do two things. One, let CO2 out so you don't have a bottle bomb waiting to explode. And two, stop little bugs from working their way down and getting into your wine. If you're coming up a little short on the water, no big deal. I mean, it's just add a couple more drops of water and call it a day, move on. Again, winemaking does not have to be an exact science. It's a hobby. You can make it an exact science, but if you're just starting out and you just want to see if you can do it at a very, very simple, or as I like to say, simplistic level, then yeah, this is what my channel is designed to do. If you can do this, and if you can wait it out, you will have, in most cases, a pretty tasty bottle of wine. We still haven't gotten a poll. I still haven't gotten a list yet of the actual top 5 winners and the top 5 losers. Those wines that I doubt seriously that I'll ever make again. I do have my doubts. I mean, a carrot wine, I don't know. That one, I'm told that's a 16-month project, so I'll see how that one turns out. And same thing with that beetroot wine. That's another oddity. But that might be surpassed later on when I do the rhubarb wine. I know I've got one. I won't even say that. No, I won't talk about the collaborative effort with doing the Mostly Man-Made Mead. That's another project. Let's see. Catch up on some comments here. You guys want to pick one?
Well, we can go through. Oh gosh, we're going very quickly.
I can back
So
up.
Skip is trying to make a pineapple and watermelon. Be careful of that watermelon. His watermelon wine really, I mean, just foamed up and really backed up into the airlock. That was interesting.
You know, funny thing before we go to the next comment, when I made that second batch of pineapple wine for Liz, I mean, basically the process is kind of the same for all the wines. I mean, after, the first time you make it, it's kind of difficult because you're not quite sure of what it is you're doing or what the results are going to be. But the next time that I did it, or the last time or when I started making this pineapple wine, I didn't have to refer to my notes. I didn't have to do anything. I just made it. I mean, once you know the recipe, then you just do it. It took far less time, and since I wasn't videoing any of it, it took a lot less time to make. But no, it's a pretty simple process. It's just basically juice, sugar, and yeast. I mean, that's basically it. Anything else is just extra.
Super Life was talking about fermenting rose petals.
Yeah, I looked at doing that as a possibility. Unfortunately, because I don't have any convenient rose bushes in my apartment, that's kind of out. I mean, you can actually order rose petals, dried rose petals online from Amazon. Oh, which reminds me.
Tea or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought about going to that Harris Teeter down the road and seeing if they would give me some of their like spent rose petals, you know, after they peel them off, keep them looking fresh. But I haven't thought about that yet. It's something that I'm considering doing at some point, using a rose petal. It's just kind of far down on the to-do list at this point.
I'm just going to put it in a mead.
No,
I'm assuming that you were trying to spell mead at that point there, Super Life.
I read it as mead too.
Yeah.
okay, I'm wondering, Super Life, you started it for skincare and ended up drinking it?
A rose water, maybe? I don't.
That wow. Was it supposed to be for skincare and you just decided, well, what the heck, let's see how it tastes.
Let's make some alcohol.
Okay, I need to stop everybody here for a hot second, because when I brought up the fact of getting something off Amazon, legally I have to point out the following. I changed the camera so I can't get my camera back in there. Yes, I am an Amazon affiliate, and I'm also now a Canva affiliate, and kind of sort of I'm a Walmart affiliate, but that's only for foods. So I have to point out the fact that anytime you make a purchase using one of the Amazon links, I will get a commission from Amazon, not from you. It doesn't affect your pricing whether you use my links or not. It just means that Amazon doesn't give me a commission. So yeah, just letting you know, legally I have to like say that. So let me get back to this scene.
Can you not say it without saying? Do you have to?
No,
say that?
you actually have to. You know, not only do you really need to say it, you have to put it in your under the description section of the videos, where I've got way too much verbiage down there. You have to specify that you are an Amazon affiliate, and so on and so forth. It's a legal thing from Amazon, I guess. So you have to stress that. Oh, again, now that we're talking about Amazon links, you can find links to everything that I bought off Amazon for this channel in the Amazon links. If you are planning on buying any items, I'd appreciate if you use one of the links. Even if you don't buy that item, anything you do buy off Amazon, I will get a commission on that as well, and that will help support the channel. Speaking of which, memberships are also an excellent way of helping support this channel. Donations to the channel's PayPal account are also a way of helping support this channel. Also, super chats and super stickers are an excellent way to help support this channel, because guess what? This stuff is not free. Okay. All right, now that I got all that out the way.
So what's the next question?
Henley said something.
Yes.
Scroll down.
All right.
Other way.
Sure.
Yes, down.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
the other down.
I think you missed it.
yeah,
missed
you
it.
went too far down. Up a little. Wow. Up a little more.
I'm just taking.
Well, I was there.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for
You
the
know-
answer. I'm actually about to make my first ever, whatever, make my first ever wine, and I will be trying the store-bought juice route to learn the process. Anything you wish you knew then that you know now?
Not really.
Well, no, actually, yes. Because when you first started, you were drinking them almost immediately.
You said it tasted bad.
Well, I didn't know any better then. The thing is, thank you for that super chat, super life. Appreciate that. To answer the question with regards to what I would do differently now using store-bought juice, you're pretty safe with store-bought juice as long as you read the ingredients and you don't see the fact that it has any preservatives. If it's 100% juice, you should be good. If it's organic, you're good too. But if it contains preservatives, you might want to take a pass on that, because the preservatives will inhibit the growth of yeast. It's not to say that you can't make it work. It's just to say that you're making your yeast work harder than it needs to. And that might give you some off-tasting flavors in your wine. I'm just saying, that's the only issue that I would see there. Also, when I first started out, not knowing any different, in my very early videos, you saw me using both sulfites, canning tablets basically, and also pectin enzyme, which I just recently kind of stopped using because I think my wine can clear that pectin haze just by simply waiting it out and giving that a try. I'm trying to make it as natural as possible. I do recommend, of course, going with commercial yeast as opposed to bread yeast, which does work, except that it will give you a bit of a kind of an off flavor, but it does work. But yeah, the commercial yeast, airlocks, and a hydrometer, those are like your three basics. With that, you can pretty much do anything. Okay.
Super life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. That the waiting it out issue. Yeah, Liz is correct. When I first started making my first batches of wine, after about 3 or 4 weeks, that was enough time for me. So that was it. Ooh, I got a little kick to it. I done made some alcohol. I done made wine. But it was just looking at the sight of that heavy layer of yeast at the bottom of my wine glass. Just kind of put me off, and it just basically had that whole milky characteristics. I mean, the alcohol was there, yes. The flavor was kind of sort of there, but it was a harsh tasting mixture, and yeah, the hardest thing for me really was to learn how to wait it out. Next question.
Okay, Super Life was replying to Skip saying he's got a watermelon wine going now. Now watermelon, I think it tastes wonderful, but I'm glad that you're liking the wine. A little worried about the smell though. I don't understand that.
Well, yeah, there are a number of wines that when I did my first strawberry wine, that one had while in primary, that one had a very nice healthy aroma to it. I was kind of wondering, well, did I do something wrong? I mean, there's number of possible reasons for it. Some wines, when you start, will just have a natural aroma. It lasts a couple of days. Excuse me. It lasts a couple of days. That beetroot wine lasted a couple of weeks, but it goes away. Some people might say because you're not using yeast energizers or yeast nutrients that the wine yeast is becoming stressed, or the temperature might be too high and the wine yeast is becoming stressed, and it's giving you that off aroma. But that goes away.
Crystal, am I about to say that last name wrong?
Gross.
Okay. Hi, Mr. Charles and family. Hello from Cleveland, Mississippi.
Hey.
Coffee
A
wine.
return visit. I mean, I think you have to really mention the fact that it's Mississippi and not Ohio, which is why I think you're doing it that way, but we understand.
Coffee wine?
Yes, he made.
Yeah, I did.
It's still in.
Yeah, I need to think about racking it again. It's getting real clear. I'm kind of curious about that one myself. I mean, I've never had a coffee wine. If it works out, great. If not, well, oh well.
So you made a video on that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I have to watch that because I gotta see how that works. Okay.
I did not shave. Oh well. Watching your live stream, David Neighbors. Watching your live stream and enjoying a glass of our own blackberry. Okay.
Blackberry is really good. I like your blackberry.
Like your down to earth approach. Down to earth approach in making wine. Yeah, I mean, why make it hard? Keep it simple. I mean, the fact of the matter is, when I started this channel, a year and a half ago, that's when I started learning how to make wine, a year and a half ago. So if I can make wine as a novice, then why not put myself in front of a camera showing other novices how to make wine? I think I like my approach where the only time you really see me face on is just at the beginning of the video. And after the introductions, it's just my hands and arms is what you all really see. I was joking with my
Because he's got a face for radio.
I was joking with my daughter last night. You remember what I said about if I had a teacher who talked like that in a class, that it would be like if I had a teacher like that and I'm sitting in that class listening to me talk about how to do anything, my immediate reaction would be, please just kill me now. Please just kill me now. Make it stop. Make it stop. But apparently there seems to be an audience for that sort of thing. So as long as you guys like it that way, that's the way it's going to stay.
Like I said, I left the watermelon.
Yeah, in the Super Life left the watermelon chunks in. And
that's okay. The only reason why I didn't do it, the only reason why I did not put the pulp in my watermelon wine video was because I forgot to do it. As simple as that. Sometimes you're doing these videos, and if they're different, like the watermelon wine video was, sometimes you'll skip a step. Was it really important? Not really, because all I really wanted was the juice. I mean, I could have extracted more flavor by putting the pulp in a straining bag and tossing the straining bags in the fermenter as well, but sometimes you just can't remember. And sometimes when you're doing these videos, there's no redo. There's no
old age.
You just can't back up and redo it again. Once you pass a point, you got to press on and move forward. It has happened from time to time. All right, rhubarb. Yeah, Brad Palmer.
Oh yeah. So when are you going to do the rhubarb? Put it on the schedule.
You've talked about rhubarb for a minute.
No,
Yes.
personally, I have not talked about the rhubarb per se.
I've seen it
It
a
keeps
lot.
being
Thank
brought.
talking about it.
The live stream
Thank
audience
you.
keeps bringing it up, and it will be done. The next thing I've got going, apart from this wild yeast, commercial yeast experiment, is the dried mango wine. I know one of the top 5 favorites of the poll that we did was to do a wine using dried fruit. I found some organic dried mangoes over at Wally World, and I picked up a couple of bags of that. I think I mentioned that earlier on in the live stream or one of my earlier videos. And I was actually started that video yesterday, and I was going to add on to it today and upload it to the members, and it's in whatever state it happened to have been in. But things got kind of congested here at the last minute, so I'll probably start shooting more of the scenes of that video tomorrow. But yeah, a dried mango wine. The only thing I can say about that is that mango costs about 50 cents at the store. A bag of dried mango, which is the equivalent of about one mango, costs about $4. Okay, so I'm just saying.
I told him to buy the fresh mango and dry it out. You cut it up, you put it in the oven, you put it on low, and you let it dry out. But no.
What's that? Because you need 6. That's like
Yeah, I had to buy 6 bags of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
But it was a splurge. I mean, again, the focus of this channel is winemaking on a shoestring budget. It's only because somebody recommended it as part of the top 5 fan favorite polls that I'm doing it at all. Will I do it again? No. But at least there's going to be a video out there showing how it can be done using dried fruit. Okay.
you missed a couple.
Yes.
Is that second from Super Life or is that the first
I
one?
think that's the first one.
Okay.
Ooh, a recipe for garlic wine.
Not going to happen.
Wow.
Wow, that was quick.
Yeah, I say these things only to turn around weeks or months later and end up making the doggone stuff. It's not on my current agenda. When I took last month off, it pushed a lot of things back down on my content calendar. I got a lot of things to do, but there's only so much that I can do. Again, this channel is basically carrying its own weight. I'm not reaching into my pocket anymore to help carry this channel. So if I can get these super chats, super stickers, memberships, donations to buy this stuff, then yeah, I'll do more of it. But I have to pace what I'm doing now. The resources just aren't there.
Wally World.
No. Kinley wants to know, where did you retire from? What were you doing before you retired? Before you decided to become a man of leisure?
Before.
That didn't last very long. The bulk of my career was in IT, information technology. The bulk of that was with the city of Detroit. And then I decided to leave that. I came down to North Carolina and did some project management work in Greenville. And then I came here to Charlotte. Well, went back to Detroit, then came here to Charlotte. And then realized that there comes a certain point in your life when you have to realize that you can no longer job hop the way you did when you were younger, okay? The opportunities just aren't there. I won't call it ageism, even though that's what it is. But basically, there comes a point when you have to realize that you can no longer do what you were doing and you have to go do something else. After trying to do something else for about 2.5 years, I decided, you know what? I could retire early and collect Social Security. I've got a partial pension from the city of Detroit. Yeah, pensions are, if you got one, you know you're good. And then that was basically going to be it. I started this channel just as, just a way of killing a little bit of time. I didn't realize that it was going to become what it's become, a business, and it's run as such. It's almost a 24/7 job for the most part. I'm constantly on YouTube. I'm constantly on the internet. When I'm not doing accounting, I'm constantly, it's become a job. So that's pretty much me at this point. Moving on.
So which one do you prefer, frozen or fresh fruit?
Frozen at times is generally cheaper.
Well, it says frozen helps break down the cell walls.
It does. And the last time I did that fresh cherry wine, I actually ended up putting it in those cherries in the freezer to break down the cell wall. It actually made it easier to pit the cherries because I can just squeeze out the pit after they came out of the freezer and thawed. But generally, given a choice, frozen for me is cheaper, and really the flavor, in my opinion, is just the same.
No, wait, because Super Life said, I want to make garlic wine and onion wine and rosemary wine. What? We're making mashed potatoes? Like that's a whole. Wait.
Now, rosemary might be interesting.
I'm thinking the same thing myself. Kinley, thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Yes.
I think the last time we did a live stream, we actually took notice of the super sticker.
The stickers?
Yeah, the
Yeah,
stickers.
they're so
You haven't
cute.
They are cute. Okay. Well, we do appreciate that. A little goes a long way as far as this channel is concerned. Appreciate that.
And Huey, we're doing wonderful. Thank you.
Well, now that we've got the technical issues worked out, we're doing okay now. Let's see. Brad Palmer.
Oh, David Neighbors. We're from the suburbs of Detroit. Yes.
I love
Well,
when
I'm
they say-
I'm a Lions fan myself.
Right. He said, "Go Tigers."
So I mean, even when Lions went 0-16
Ooh.
twice, I mean, I stopped wearing my Lions ball cap for a while, but no. Now that things now that they brought in the broom and swept out all of the.
You are always a Lions fan, even if you have to go wearing a paper bag over your head, which was done when they went 0-16. People
Oh,
came,
that reminds
but they
me.
still showed up.
I think there's a preseason game on now,
There
which
is.
was one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live stream at 6 o'clock, so that by 7 o'clock I can be in front of the TV watching the Lions play, preseason. But you guys are more important, so we're going to take care of you guys first.
No, I'm sorry. Brad says, if you're from North Carolina, shouldn't you be hiding in the woods and distilling?
Oh my gosh. I mean,
Well, Brad, considering the number of times we get questions on this live stream about doing distillation, you would think so. But
No. I don't think he gets that. I get that.
I get it.
I'm too young to get it. What's
You're too
what's
young
the
to
joke?
get it. I'll tell you later.
Okay, Super Life. Have you ever made wine in one of those water-sealed crocks?
Crock pots? Crocs?
Not quite sure what you mean there, Super Life. You can make wine out of all sorts of. You can make wine out of all of those things. You can make wine. He's talking about two different things. There.
No, he's okay. So
Same thing.
I think all those things was the garlic, the rosemary, and the onion.
Right.
This is why they keep me around, because he wouldn't remember any of this. And no, he's never used a water sealed crock. You don't
Whatever
even
that
have a
is.
water sealed crock.
Excuse me. No, I don't. You all continue. I want to make
Okay.
a change here.
I have a question.
Yes, it does take a real man to be a Lions fan.
If you were okay, so this is from Huey. Man, have you ever made champagne
Yes.
before?
Have you ever even thought about champagne?
Would that be carbonated? Is that the same
Yes.
thing?
Yes.
So it's the same process. Just
Well,
carbonated.
champagne is made in a certain region of France
Okay.
called Champagne, which is
No surprise.
and so for it to be real champagne, it would have to use those grapes and be made a
We
certain
taking
way.
a trip to France?
My passport. Oh, I gotta renew my passport too at some point before.
And I'll be going at some point in the very near future. So.
Can you take me with you?
Yes,
I
I
never
can
go
take you with
anywhere.
I never go anywhere. Okay. Now that I've made it a little bit brighter with the camera settings, had I not been so distracted from the earlier technical issues, I would have caught that earlier. That it was just dark in this room, but anyway, okay. Terry Collier's in the house, one of our members. Thank you very much for that. Hello to you as well.
The champagne question.
Brad Palmer, hard oak carbonated wines without making a bomb. Hard oak carbonating wine. Still working on. Oh, that reminds me. That ginger beer is actually ready. I've got 3 bottles in the refrigerator.
Alcoholic or non-alcoholic? 'Cause I'm
Non-alcoholic
like,
ginger beer.
I want some.
Yeah, I made some ginger beer.
He had made ginger beer before. I did not get any.
Why you be holding out on Liz?
Well, there was a reason for her not getting any of that ginger beer. It was explained in an earlier live stream. That was a weekend that she did not come over, and I realized that there was no point hanging on to it. God knows when she might come over next time. So I figured, okay. So anyway, felt bad about it, so I made some more ginger beer earlier this week, and it's now at the refrigerator stage. So
Candy. Can we go grab it?
Well, yeah, you go get it.
You want some? Liz,
Yes,
you want some?
yes. Thank you.
All right.
See, I love her.
Still, I mean, doing
She's the reason I'm still here.
an actual carbonated beverage is still something that, yeah, I'm planning on doing on purpose. A carbonated wine, rather, on purpose at some point. I just haven't gotten down that far on the list of things to do.
But you had water.
Yes. Thank
All
you.
right, Super Life, back in trouble again.
Thank
Okay.
you. So now Superlife said their fermentation crocks. It has a moat around it, and you use water in the moat to form an airlock. Never seen that. Take a look at that. Just let's look it up and see what it's about.
I might do the Google search about it, but expense wise, I just can't see it. Where was it? The crock.
Yeah. Superlife. Fermentation crock. Yeah, right there.
I swear to God. Okay, there it is. No, carbonated wine from Brad. Super
Right
Life.
there. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fermentation Crocks. Just bear with us, folks. I'm going to do this real quick. If I can just highlight this. And let's see what we got here.
We can look
Fermentation
it up.
Crocks.
Oh wow.
No, it's cheap ones though, for $15. Yeah, okay. We just did a quick look-see in terms of what a fermentation crock is, and they range anywhere from
Thank
about
you.
$15 to about $60.
This is the right thing, right?
Don't see myself doing a $60 crock, but yeah,
Oh wow.
Did you want some?
yeah. Just pour it in my tea, okay?
That's
I don't,
really not
I don't
bad.
know if I put enough sugar in it for you guys.
No, it's good.
Okay,
It's very good.
and let's see.
The ginger is strong in this one.
I like strong ginger ale. Chris Banning, I am new to this winemaking and just started. Pretty cool doing it with blueberries and peaches, and
Ooh, nice.
have produced at home. That we have produced at home. We brought back in December. Okay, bro. I probably will have some basic questions. All right. It's a basic winemaking channel. There should not be anything more than basic questions.
We looked up the fermentation crocks.
Yeah, we looked it up. We just Googled it.
Yeah, kind of neat.
David Neighbors, I have an oak wine with a small nylon net suspended in the bottle with good results.
You said this was not.
I'm assuming that the net straining bag basically is just to hold the oak chips. I usually just when I'm oaking it, I'll just put the chips right on it. Well, I will prep the chips first. I will sanitize the chips, and I did do when I did the video on using wood chips, I did indicate four different methods for sanitizing your oak chips. But then after that, yeah, I just usually put them in at one point during the secondary fermentation stage for a couple of weeks, and yeah, that usually does it. For you to do that, the oak chips will provide a level of tannin. So if you're not using the black tea bag method that I use in my videos to provide tannin, the oak chips can be used instead. Again, if you're a more advanced winemaker and you're using actual tannin powder, then yeah, you could do that as well. But again, I keep things on a more simplistic level here. Now then, Liz, you were saying.
There was actually a question about it was up a little higher about sanitizing.
It was before the.
Yes.
Yeah, that was way up there, and
It was like he put a straw
Yeah,
in it.
I wanted
Higher
because
up.
I wanted to get back to that
Keep
one.
going.
well, I can't.
It was before both super chats actually. Yeah, right there. One above it. Keep going.
This
Right
one?
there. Yeah.
Okay. Alden, I use a stuck tube through the stopper on my carboy and into a bucket with a star sand solution because my banana wine was pushing the airlock off with unusual amounts of foam. Yeah. Will it still be sanitary? I don't see. No, I'm not seeing a reason why not. Wait a minute. I stuck a tube through the stopper and into the bucket with star sands. Oh, I see. He's running a tube. It sounds like what you're doing is that your airlock, whether it's this style or if it's a little short, squat one, keeps coming off, leaving you with just a bung. You put a straw in the hole. I can do this right now. Yeah, basically, you put a straw through the hole instead of the airlock, and you're running that down into a star sand solution. It's kind of like I took a straw and I've got star sands in my mug, which, by the way, you can find on my Teespring account.
Oh my goodness.
There's a link in my description section on the community page where you can find all sorts of
Shameless, smooth,
all sorts of merchandise, t-shirts, sweaters, and whatnot.
not even smooth.
And he's running a straw from here into the star sand solution where it's bubbling out CO2. I mean, I've seen that done I've seen videos where that's done kind of sort of in that way. I mean, it works. Again, the whole principle is that you don't want your star sand solution to be sucked into your wine. You really just want to get the CO2 to release, and you don't want any bugs to come crawling back through that solution into your wine. Yeah, it should be fine. It should be fine. You can't hold me legally to that, but I'm simply saying it should be fine.
Okay. Now we can move back down, but
All
Super
right.
Life, I saw your comment on using fruits and grains for skincare and hair care, and
Oh, I saw that.
yeah, that
Yeah.
interesting, very interesting. I thought about doing that, and something that I still want to try for myself. But we can go back down to the bottom.
Okay. All right. Regarding tannins, you want to read that? Can you see that? Should I make it larger?
No.
Dave,
Cannons and tea bags. How much tea water are you actually putting in?
Oh, you don't have to be specific. Quarter of a cup, half a cup. I mean, it doesn't really matter.
What?
Because I mean, you're using some of the same water. I mean, if you're making a gallon batch of wine, basically you're taking your gallon container of water, you're just pouring off a little bit just so that you can simmer that black tea, just to give you a good strong solution. I mean, it's not like you have to have a cup of water or half a cup. There's no specific amount of water you need to make. Just let it simmer till it's good and strong without the tea bag disintegrating and you get little specks of leaves floating around. You don't want to go that far, but just a good strong batch of tea is all you really need.
So if we're doing tea, what is it? Tea wine? Tea? What are you using tea for?
I haven't done a tea wine.
Well, the tea is for the tannins, and the tannins, I guess, give it that dry taste. What is?
Yeah, it's kind of like a dry taste.
Could you use loose leaf instead of using like a bag?
No, you don't want that tea floating around in your wine. Okay.
Okay.
It's a hell of a thing to try and get out. Brad, yeah, in the oak chip video that I did, using the oven method to sanitize your wood chips, yeah, that was mentioned and demonstrated, along with using steam, along with using. I didn't use alcohol because I didn't really have any at the time, and we're talking about distilled spirits at that point, and I couldn't really see using any distilled spirits on wood chips. That I'd much rather use another way. But yeah, the video does indicate the oven method for sterilization: boiling, steaming, oven, and then the whether you're using bourbon, scotch, whatever, to sterilize it that way. All right.
Wait, Travel Animal was asking, I think you might have mentioned somewhere that most of the, thank you.
Oh,
Yep.
There we go.
Okay. I think you might have mentioned somewhere that most of the wines you produce are dry wines.
Yeah.
Any plans to make sweet wines?
no, not really. The reason why I do dry wines is because it's simpler to just go ahead and let them go dry, let the hydrometer reading go down below 0.994 to 0.990. You've got a dry wine, which that basically all the alcohol that you really want to get out of it, you've got. It's a lot simpler just to do back sweetening at that point than it is to try and determine how much sugar you need at the very beginning of the process, because you have to determine how much sugar to put in to give you a sweet wine, the type of wine yeast you're going to be using that's going to leave residual sweetness. I mean, there is a calculation, a formula that you can use to determine how much extra sugar to put in. I'm not doing that on this channel because it's just simpler just to let it go dry and then add sugar at the back end to your desired level of sweetness. If I say a recipe that normally takes 4 cups of sugar and will go dry, instead of using 4 cups of sugar, put in say 5 cups of sugar. Okay, it'll go down. It'll have some residual sweetness, but it might not be the same sweetness level that you might enjoy. So that's why I let everything go dry and leave it up to you guys and girls to decide how sweet you want it. If you want a sweet wine at the end, go for it. Just add more sugar at the end. I've already talked about the fact that I use pasteurization at the end of my process to basically to stop the action of the yeast and kill off any bacteria that might have survived the fermentation process. So yeah, after it's been, if you're going to pasteurize, then yeah, the yeast is dead. You don't have to worry about restarting fermentation and creating bottle bombs after you've bottled it. So if you are using Camden tablets or stabilizers at the back end, then that's what you're doing instead of using pasteurization. Some people say that pasteurization alters the flavor of the wine. I don't think so, but then that's just me. Again, I'd much rather have a safe bottle of wine that I know is safe, that I can give out to, as gifts to friends and other folks, than to give them something that might be harmful. So again, just for the record, I pasteurize my stuff for safety.
Now, Chris Branning has a pretty good question. He has a 1 gallon of blueberry wine in a carboy. It's been there since June 25th.
You're not drinking any more of the ginger ale. You must not like it.
The Airlock to stop bubbling
First time
2
I've had
days
something that
ago,
tastes like yeast.
and he wants to know what he should do.
Okay.
It's a gallon of blueberry wine.
I'm looking at it. I mean, if your airlock can stop bubbling, I mean, that really doesn't indicate all that much. I mean, that's going to be normal. I mean, some wines you'll see bubbling, very slow action bubbling for a month or two. Sometimes it's just a couple of weeks. If it stops after a couple of days, then you might want to check your hydrometer reading because you might have a stuck fermentation. But June 25th and your airlock has pretty much stopped bubbling, then I think a lot of the fermentation process has actually already been completed. And you're now pretty much in the bulk aging process. I mean, there still will be some release of CO2, natural release of CO2 over the course of time, but I wouldn't sweat it. What I will do, if you've got one, take a hydrometer reading, and if your hydrometer reading is down in the low numbers like 0.994 or even lower, then you know that pretty much all the hard work fermentation is done. You're just letting it age at that point.
So at that point, should he rack it into bottles and?
Well, if he racked it a couple of times and the wine is clear, and then he's degassed it, and then he's back sweetened it, and then he's pasteurized it, and then he's corked it, and capped it, and labeled it. Then yeah.
So your next step is bottle.
All right. Corey got here. Sorry, I just got here. Well, Corey, there was a lot of excitement at the beginning of this. No, not this live
There's
stream,
excitement when we're
but the
calling it?
2 live streams prior to this one before we figured out why we had no audio. But we managed to work things out. We got a late start, half-hour late start on this one. So you didn't miss a whole heck of a lot. Well, you did, but
Who is she?
Who am I?
Yes.
oh yeah.
Hold up. You don't see the resemblance?
This is my daughter. This is my fiance. Okay. But since she's visiting for a couple of days, I figure I'll show her how our YouTube setup looks like. And
We're still trying to get him into the coconut broth, Corey. We're still working on it. It's gonna happen. I
so happy
promise you,
there
it's
for
gonna
that live
happen.
stream. That was funny.
all right, let's see. Huey Man, I knew the business. Okay. For Huey Man, I am new, very new to brewing, so I'll ask: does the yeast need to continue to be active during secondary fermentation? Well, kind of, sorta. And the reason I'm saying it that way is that usually during the first 5 to 7 days, 70% of the alcohol that your yeast is capable of producing has been produced. It's that remaining 30% that you're trying to coax out of the yeast. So don't. You can add a preservative. Why would you do that? Wait a minute. During secondary, or can you add a preservative, even store it in the fridge? Oh, I see what he's saying. You're talking about stabilizing your wine at the back end. And normally I would suggest doing that several months down the road after you've racked it a couple of times and your wine has gone clear and you're ready for it to bottle. Then you would add, if in your case, the way you're asking the question, the preservatives that you're referring to are basically your sulfites or your cabinet tablets, metabisulfite, and there was another one I forgot, which is designed to stop the yeast basically from re-fermenting after you've added your sugars. Since we don't use sulfites here on this channel, I can only tell you that my method of stopping any possible re-fermentation is to use the pasteurization method. Then I can add, I don't have to worry about restarting fermentation once sugar has been added. Now, if you put it in the refrigerator, that's not going to stop anything. It will slow down fermentation quite a bit, but it's not going to stop anything. Fermentation is still ongoing, even at a reduced rate. So my suggestion is either use, in your case, sulfites, or in the case of most of my audience, just using pasteurization to stop fermentation. That way you don't have to worry about the refrigerator aspect of it. But good question. Mm-hmm. All right, Kinley. I really don't, I have no preference on sugars. I don't get into it at that level. Whatever happens to be available at the store. I mean, I'm not really into brand names with sugars.
Now, there was, you had talked about, there was one sugar that you had talked about, or a sweetener that you had talked about that would not restart fermentation.
Right. This was back when I was in my non-fermentable sugar stage, which is also another way in which you can sweeten your wines without worrying about restarting fermentation. There are just some sugars that yeast does not interact with well at all. Xylitol, mannitol, and I think there's a couple of others that can be used quite successfully. I was using it for several batches of wine. It will not restart fermentation. You can make your wine as sweet as you want. The only problem with that is that xylitol and mannitol are expensive, okay? So I had to put a quick stop to that, which is why I'm now primarily using just plain sugar and using pasteurization to keep my wine safe and sweet. But again, no, I don't go into specific sugars. Now, when you see these questions like this,
he said something, and then
and YouTube caught it.
Did they?
And
Was it?
no, YouTube caught it for what was said, and during the after YouTube has processed the video, they will remove that whole line. So we won't even get to find out who said what. And so that's how that works. Of course, I also have the option of just, if they're saying it in such a way that I find it objectionable, I could simply just stop them midstream and ban them from leaving any further comments.
But no,
They said-
2 mouse clicks. That's all it takes. 2
They
mouse
said-
clicks.
Scroll up real quick.
But anyway, moving on. Corey, excitement. Did you have the coat?
That we talked about, yeah.
We're going to get him in there. And yes, he does ignore you when you say, but I am paying attention.
So am I, honestly.
All right.
We're going to get him into that coconut broad grass skirt.
When's Halloween? We got 2 months.
Okay.
Patient.
Nidra Stewart. Hi, joined late. Wanted to know if lime works.
Instead of lemon as a neutral acid blend.
I mean, it's a citric it's citrus, so you're still dealing with citric acid. It's just got a different flavor profile. Again, when you see me use a lemon as my substitute for a acid blend, I still keep forgetting the third item. Citric acid, tartaric acid, and then there was another acid that comprises the citric blend. The lemon juice does just as well in providing acidity, which provides a certain level of brightness to the wine at the back end. So it doesn't taste as flat, which is why you see me adding the lemon juice.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because what was it? Chris Brandon was saying something positive, and I guess he took it back.
Yes.
And he added something with an emoji, because he just said something again.
Yes.
Okay.
So thank you, Chris.
Yeah, Chris, you got to be careful about that, because sometimes YouTube will react the same way. They have a list of banned words, and then I have a list of banned words, and then if YouTube catches it, or if there's like a link to a website with a .com or something like that, YouTube will pull it. So there are a number of reasons for it. In your case, if you pulled it back because that works too. Super Life. People can take back their statement if they notice that they've made a mistake and they send it back. Well, see, actually, that I didn't know.
Really?
Yeah.
I've read it before.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. I thought once you press that send button,
Nah.
No. Learn something new every day. Nope. You can,
All right.
you can take it back to yourself.
Kinley compost.
Malic acid from
Apples.
What's malic acid?
It's the acid that you're really trying. Well, I don't know how to answer that question, Hot Lava Tube, because malic acid really appears in more than just apples. But again, you're still waiting for that to, over the bulk aging process, to change over to lactic acid. So I don't really know how to answer that. Kinley just wanted to say thanks for helping me out and all of us out. Recommended your channel to some friends who are getting into winemaking also. Well, again, this is a beginner's level winemaking channel.
And thank you so
free
much for your
advertisement.
support.
Thank you. Corey, oh yeah, I can click on my comment and remove it myself. Okay.
You can
thank
every
you.
once
That's
in a
what it
while.
was.
Every once in a while, you can teach an old dog a new trick.
Hot Lava Tube, thank you for that. I don't know why I can't remember that, since that's one of the main acids that you're trying to switch over during bulk aging. But there you
Just
go.
did it. Yeah.
Again, because you can't find acid blend generally at the grocery store, which is generally where most of my ingredients are coming from, I generally shy away from anything you have to order from a wine shop or Amazon if I can help it. Wine yeast can't be helped. Kind of sort of, unless you make your own.
And he's made his own, so we're going to see how that works. And if it works and works well, maybe
No.
no.
Because it's time consuming. Even when you make the starter and you're using that, you still have the issue of the experiment video that I'm doing now is to determine just what the ABV level is going to be between a wild yeast starter and a low end commercial yeast. Low end by low ABV level. I think this was like 14% tolerance. So that's a video that's currently being worked on. I've already shot a few scenes.
Bye, Corey.
I've already
Good
uploaded.
night.
See ya, Corey. I've already uploaded that for the members for an advanced viewing of the rough video, so they know what's going on. All right.
Oh, and Brad's keyboard died. Yeah, it's been a bad night.
Yeah, I'd like to have that update because I'm not recording it. It's one of those few games that are actually shown down here.
Yeah, how are the Lions doing?
I'd like to know. I'd like to see it. But I'm sure I can catch one of the condensed replays later on. All
What
right.
is that, Goffner?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Pretty people. Why, thank you. I am quite gorgeous, aren't I? And you're kind of cute.
Oh,
too.
first quarter. So I
Thanks,
got plenty of
thanks.
time. I probably catch the last half. Cool.
Yeah, 0.
All right. 11 minutes left. First quarter. Okay, I got plenty of time. This was only going to be a short live stream anyway. Chris Banning, I also have 2 gallons of peach wine and carboys. They really are cloudy. Is that normal? Yes, it is. Especially if you're not using peptic enzyme. So you can expect that to last for a while. Some wines just never really get clear, even when you do use peptic enzyme. Super Life, those are pretty people, aren't they? Yeah, of course they are. All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
First quarter, let's talk about the game. Okay. I think that's it, unless you want to go back up.
No, actually, I'm gonna think about wrapping this up soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because some of us have to eat.
At
Yes.
some point, I'd like to.
And this was again, for those of you who joined late, this was not supposed to be a live stream because I told you all during the last first of the month live streams that I was never going to do another one. Well, never say never. Circumstances presented themselves to the point where I'm doing this live stream mid-month.
Me?
You.
Me.
It is all for you.
So that's how that goes. So we have this live stream. Again, it's an hour-ish live stream.
What happened to your coconut wine?
Okay, thank you, Kenley. Appreciate that.
There's a coconut in the freezer.
Oh, okay. Brad Palmer. It's still bulk aging. I mean, it doesn't appear to be the kind of wine that's ever going to go like real clear. I mean, I could bottle it at this point. It's been what, 7 months, 8 months now. But I'm just, it's just not ready to deal with it. More than likely, the next time you see that wine will be at the 12-month tasting. Yeah, well, we'll do that at the 12-month. I'll probably have No here if possible, and she can tell me what it tastes like. Okay.
Had to show off your lovely family.
Thank you, Halawatu, for that. Super Life. Can people email? No, and this keeps coming up at every live stream. I do not have a post office box yet for this channel. I can't afford it.
Email.
Simple as
Email
that.
them?
Oh, email you. I'm sorry. Can people email you? No. The channel's email account is for business-related accounts for dealing with sponsors and whatnot like that. No, I don't have a public email account for the channel. That would get out of hand too quick. Not having that. So no, it's you have to limit it to the comment sections and hopefully keep the comments short. Down the drain special. We'll find out. I mean, I have yet to pour down an entire batch of wine. The rice wine doesn't quite count because it really wasn't like a whole gallon batch. So I'm not above doing it. We'll see. We'll see on that coconut wine. Go ahead.
So, Chris wants to know what's your favorite wine to make and drink.
You know what? I'm going to start posting this in the top of the chat. My favorite wines. Chris is asking that? Okay, Chris. Yeah, this question comes up every live stream. For me, it's generally the dark cherry wine, apple wine, and the Walsh's grape juice wine are my top three. Okay, thank you for that. The P420 Super Life. Okay, glad we can answer your questions. Okay, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up because this was just going to be a short live stream. And I'm trying not to show up, but yeah, I'm still a little stressed out from the technical issues we had at the prior attempts earlier to try and get this live stream up and running. But now we've got a pizza to make. We've got the dough that's still kind of rising. The sauce is already made. We make pizzas from scratch. So we got that going. And Nidra, really enjoyed watching your channel. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Keep up the good work. Well, I intend to. Thank you for dropping in. And with that having been said, I want to thank you all for making an appearance. We did have, back this up here, make this a little bit smaller for us to read. We did have a maximum of about 25 people this time around for an impromptu live stream that just popped up out of nowhere. So I might get some thought to another mid-month live stream, but we do have a last comment from Super Life, who is basically saying, glad to have met my daughter. Hope you're all having a wonderful visit, and thank you for inviting us. Well, that sounds like a good ending to this live stream. Again, thank you very much. We will still have the first of the month live streams, and still continuing those. and we'll see where it goes from there. Again, I encourage you all to becoming members to help support this channel. It's only $1.99, again, if you're planning on getting something from Amazon, just go through one of my links to get to it. I appreciate that as well. T-shirts, mugs, sweaters, on my Teespring store. You can find a link in the community section. And of course, the channel does have a PayPal donation account. Okay, now having said that, you all have a good night, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.